Hi, I'm Sarah Ramos, and this is my first teaching learning interaction video. I'd like to talk about some of the things that stuck out to me over the last few weeks. I really felt like these readings made me think a lot and ask a lot of questions, especially the readings for this week. So to start, I hadn't really thought about what I could bring to the table as far as teaching a workshop goes. I get anxious talking to strangers, so I hadn't considered that I might have some strengths. One of the questions for the first week was about talents and abilities. This really made me have to look at myself and see what I could offer and how it might be used in the real world. One of the talents that I've had since I was a girl was the ability to sing. I've always looked at that talent as being only useful at church, where we pick people who are musically inclined to lead the music or play the piano. However, I wanted to see if I could think of a way to use this talent as a family life educator. I actually got really excited about this because the more I thought about it, the more I came up with. One of my favorite ideas was to create choirs or groups of people who like to sing. I stress like because I don't think that singing should be limited to those who sound good. My husband is an awful singer. He can't hold a tune to save his life. But I love it when he sings because he loves to sing. So as I thought about a choir sort of setting, it occurred to me that if we didn't sound very good, no one would want us to perform for them. But that's not what it's all about. I could use a choir to just bring people together who live in a community. In my family and community relationships class about a year ago, I got really fired up about building connection and unity in a community. And I really think that my talent for music is one way that this could be accomplished, because I could bring people together in a safe place to sing their hearts out and help them kind of find common interests and build relationships. So to shift gears, my partner and I have decided to do workshops on intercultural families. We were asked a question about whether we thought we'd be working on a primary, a secondary, or a tertiary level of prevention. Where our workshop is concerned, I really feel that we'll be working on the primary and secondary levels, because we have the opportunity to discuss methods of prevention in a really general sort of way. But we will also have people who are coming in who are experiencing the marriage or the parent-child relationship right then. We'll have to be able to look at that kind of tension and see that it's coming more from missing tools in their toolbox instead of just not knowing how to do it. My partner and I will obviously have to be really aware and identify whether there's a great need to help people change their already established habits or whether they need to create new habits. This leads into being aware and focused on the needs and desires of the target audience. I think one of the first things that we need to do is establish who the target actually is. Both my partner and I are based in Rexburg, so many of the people we reach will be students here at school. They'll be younger and most likely members of the church. Something that the reading made me think of that I believe would help us identify more with our audience is something that I learned in my theories and dynamics class. We finished discussing theories and how they are created, and I liked the way that we were taught to break down a theory. First, there are assumptions, and then there are concepts, and those concepts and assumptions lead to propositions. So I really think that identifying our target's assumptions will help us in understanding their point of view. So I broke it down. We have students who we assume value education, think learning is important, and see growth and development as beneficial. We have an intercultural perspective that we assume means that no culture is better than any other, and that differences are valued because they are different. Finally, we look at the assumptions made by being members of the church, such as families are eternal and worth fighting for, whatever God touches lasts, and that any two people can have a happy Christ-centered marriage. So looking at these assumptions, I think it will be easier to think about what information would be deemed valuable and useful to our audience. I'm glad I thought of this little exercise because as I read the material for this week, it hit me that my partner and I have no way of gathering the opinions of our target audience to discover what they want to know. We can't just randomly select people because they may not even have any connection to an intercultural relationship. For my partner and I, we selected intercultural relationships because we both have experience with them. I'm married to a Hispanic, and my partner is white Native American. So because we selected this project based on our own backgrounds, I thought maybe it was appropriate and acceptable to shout out to my friends on Facebook to get their feedback on their own intercultural relationship experiences. I assume that my friends will feel comfortable sharing their experiences with me via private message, and I'm hoping that I can glean some ideas for what to present in our workshops. Feeling comfortable sharing experiences, struggles, and information is something that my partner and I will have to be aware of as we go through the workshops. One of the readings talked about how important it is to make sure that people feel like they're in a safe environment and have the support needed for change. People don't want to feel judged, and they don't want to feel like they're alone in their experiences. They want to feel successful and accepted. And as I thought of this, I tried to think of a way that I could help them feel comfortable in a classroom setting. Something that I've noticed works really well is to talk about your own experiences as an instructor. Because my marriage isn't perfect and it's intercultural, I could easily share some of the struggles that my husband and I have gone through in the last 2.5 years since we got married. This would be different than using my own personal experiences to teach someone, because instead of saying, well, this is what I did, I'm saying, look, I have the same problems that you have. I've struggled too, and I want to know more, and I'm willing to learn with you. I also thought that maybe we could bring someone in who seems to have a really great marriage now and have them come and talk with everyone about how hard it was for them at such and such point, or just at the beginning. I even thought of someone here on campus that we could invite, one of the heads on campus, President Miyazaki. He is in an intercultural marriage, and he's part of the stake presidency for my stake. And I thought that he'd be a great example because he and his wife just look so happy all the time, and I just love it. So most of the reading for this week made me really think about what I had to offer and how I could make our workshop and my community better. I got really excited as I read because suddenly I had tons of ideas and thoughts about what we could present and how to make it fun and applicable for the people who are participating. I came up with pictures and exercises and group activities that we could do to help the participants really feel like they got something out of our workshop. This book is seriously really great. Anyway, thank you for listening.